Hey, you. You're, you know what you clicked on?
Hey, me?
You, the listener.
Oh.
Not you.
Oh,
mate.
I get the gag.
You're in the play.
You clicked on me.
Yeah, you.
It's me, bloody Joe Clickbait.
He's doing a gag. Sorry, Angus. Go on with your gag. You're listening to the Film Slice podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Hey team, Angus Draken here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast. I'm here as always with my co-hosts Kane Diggity Doogadus, Kane Dogs, and Brodardicus Richardicus Monardicus.
I prefer the name John Ceena. Nah, you can just call me Brody.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan is fine for me.
This week we are reviewing Blockers.
Alright. Not a long one from the IMDb. It's pretty straightforward. 3 parents try to stop their daughters from having sex on prom night.
Having a sex on prom night.
3 parents.
I'll have one sex, please.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jordan's got his microphone round backwards.
Oh, that's what it is.
So he's speaking into the back of it. That's amazing.
Okay.
That is so amazing.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's like,
That is golden. Please keep that in the podcast.
happening?
Please keep that in.
It's not recording you.
Okay. All right. I was wondering. I was like, why is your voice? Okay, we're back.
I was like, where's that golden dot there?
Alright, yeah. So 3 parents try to stop their daughters from having a sexy time on a prom night or something.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. So for the cast, we have Leslie Mann, who plays Lisa, the main mother, playing her daughter Catherine Newton. Then we've got John Cena as the caring father, the overprotective father. He plays Mitchell, and Mitchell's daughter Geraldine Viswanathan.
Holy
I hope
shit.
I got that right. But she plays Kayla. And then the third father is Ike Barinholtz, who plays Hunter. How would you explain him?
The drunken stepdad.
The drunken-
guy.
Yeah.
Well, the
laid
drunken
back.
dad, yeah.
The-
Hey lads, you know how I put out on Twitter every week about what movie we're reviewing, and people, I asked people to respond to it.
We.
Yeah.
We asked people to respond to it.
I'm aware.
I
Didn't get anything. But
However,
but we put it out on Facebook,
I put it on Facebook.
and we as a collective put it out on Facebook, and we got a reply.
What did you think of the movie? And Gemma Elliott wrote back, "It was pretty good for just a feel-good film. John Cena was..." And then there's 3 emojis of like the A-OK thumb touching the index finger thing.
The A-OK.
A-OK.
How many?
3.
Oh, that's
John Cena is 3 of them.
that's pretty generous.
I don't know if...
I'd give him a 1.
Under the assumption that she listens to this, thanks for the shout out, Gemma.
Yeah, thanks, Gemma.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
shouting out to us.
Cheers.
If you want to shout out to us and have a chance to jump on the podcast, make sure you tweet us at film_slice_pod. I put up every week what movie we're reviewing. If you've seen it, let us know what you think, and we'll chuck it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cane Dogs, time for your favourite segment. When did you see the movie, and what did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit. Angus, when did you see the movie? What'd you think?
When did I see the movie? I saw the movie like 5 days ago. Like,
I think it'd be like that
ages
6 hours ago.
No, like I saw the movie ages ago. So again, I can't remember much of it. But I actually thought it was quite enjoyable. I thought it was definitely better than what I thought it would be. Cane Dogs.
I saw the movie 4 or 5 days ago as well.
Snap.
A while ago. I saw it with some friends that weren't you guys. I have other friends, guys. You
Have other friends.
I don't believe it.
What
did you think?
I really enjoyed it. For this type of movie, which usually sort of the studios tend to churn out a whole bunch of these films a year and they're always the same.
Yeah. Just plow them out.
For that, I thought this one was really enjoyable.
Birdman.
I would like to put my answer in the form of a limerick.
All right.
that I have written.
Oh, very nice.
God.
Exciting. This is the new segment, Brody's Limericks.
There once was a boy, handsome and dumb, off to the theatre, as happy as a plum. A time had turned out to be lousy, oh, only if he wasn't so drowsy. When he awoke, he looked around, no one around, not even a crumb.
Ah, you fell asleep.
I fell asleep during this film, so I don't know how it ends. I still don't know.
That's a fantastic. Can I see that?
right.
I want to look at it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cool. There you go. There you go. So you fell asleep.
Fell
Do you
asleep?
what do you remember?
I reckon I only saw like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But
What-
it seemed
what time was it?
above average. It wasn't super late. I had like an all-nighter. So I was just
Yeah,
like super
fair,
tired.
fair,
I was like, I can make it through this film. Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. But
What did you think
what I did
of
see,
what you saw?
I thought it was I thought that it looked like every American comedy I've ever seen, but it seemed slightly above average
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Would you recommend it, and who would you recommend it to?
Who would I recommend it to?
Those 20 minutes that you watched.
I reckon I'd recommend this. I don't think going to the theater to watch a comedy is really like a great idea, unless you're with a bunch of friends. So I can wait until it comes out on Netflix,
Kind of.
but in a pinch.
Would you recommend it, and who'd you recommend it to?
I agree with Brody that if you're gonna go see a comedy, see it with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things where you're probably not gonna laugh if you see it by yourself.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it for people our age. I'd recommend it for young teens. I'd recommend it for maybe parents, but like young parents that are still going to appreciate the jokes instead of just looking at it and being like, "What filth."
I would definitely recommend it. I would say that it's probably not for the younger crowd. I think the older crowd would probably have a bit more fun. As you said, cane dogs.
Yeah.
Anywhere between probably like 20 to 40, I'd say. Take your girlfriend, take your boyfriend, take your
Sock
brothers
puppet.
or sisters, or take your sock puppet.
Just like puppet.
Yeah, take a friend and see it. It is good fun. Not necessary at the cinemas, I agree. Acting, any standouts for you?
Look, here's the thing. Like, without going into it too heavily, I think it's safe to say that John Cena, like, you know, is one of the heavy hitter comedians in this movie.
Yeah, he's actually quite funny, and I think that goes very hand in hand with the Australian style of humor. I'm not sure how Americans will feel about it, but he makes fun of himself. Like,
absolutely.
he beats himself around a bit, which is great to see. It's good to see that he's not up himself kind of thing. And Leslie Mann, I haven't seen her in ages. I don't know if it's just like I haven't been watching.
Which one's Leslie Mann?
The main mother.
The main mother.
Oh, you have red hair?
Yeah.
I forgot that Brody's only seen the first 20 minutes of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've seen her in something recently.
She's all I can remember her from is George of the Jungle. She's the main
in
actress
some
in
stuff.
George of the
I don't
Jungle,
know.
but I can't remember
find
seeing her. But I want to see more of her. I thought I really like her as well. She's really charismatic. She's got a good character to her that I don't think is kind of stock standard in these films.
So I think performances all around. Also, the three teenage girls.
I think they were fine. They were good.
It's actually one of the few times where I've seen friendships, like teenage friendships in a movie, and forgot that they were actors.
Yeah,
I legitimately would believe that all of those actors have been friends their whole life.
Again, with the premise and the story, I think it was fun.
It's exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, it was funny, but as Jordan, you said, it's deep. It's got a few deep moments, enough to keep you going, kind of thing.
It hits some moments that are real enough that, because usually these films they don't tug on any chords. Maybe at the very end someone will have a breakdown because they've been making a mistake the whole way through and they'll admit something.
Yeah,
you can empathize with them, but very rarely in these types of films where there be something that you can relate to and feel a somber connection with. This film hits on some deeper topics with some more depth and sort of lingers on them just enough that you can actually connect with the characters a bit more, and that overall just makes the comedy feel better as well, because it takes you into a situation you can kind of relate with, kind of feels real, and then does something like disastrously funny, like something really over the top, and it has more impact. Anyway,
nice.
I want to get into it deeper, but just to say the least, I think this is a higher quality of this genre of comedy than we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So to hear that you liked it, Angus, I've got to say I'm not surprised because it was directed by one of the writers and producers of all 3 Pitch Perfect films.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly, are you surprised that I don't hate it then?
A little bit.
Well, there's no sing-alongs.
I
so-
went in expecting to hate it. I will say that.
Yeah, I went in expecting nothing big from
Yeah,
it. I
I thought
kind of-
it looked like every other American comedy I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt like Daddy's Home 3. Like when I saw
That
the,
kind
when
of
I saw
thing.
the title, I was like, it's just going to be Daddy's Home or one of those films.
And look, and to be fair, it is one of those films. Like, it's not going to win an Oscar or anything
Yeah.
like that, but it is a good one of those films.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to slip right into spoilers. Let's sound the spoiler alarm.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
Okay, so, yeah, the spoilers section, obviously, the place where we talk all things spoilers. We're going to start off with positives. Broadman, as you said, you haven't seen a lot.
Positives. I really like seeing John Cena in films. I actually just really like him as a comedian, as an actor. I think he's actually really good, which was a little bit unexpected, but it's kind of like, but it's like a great thing. Emojis, more and more in films.
These are just things you remember. These
Yeah.
are
They're not positive.
Yeah.
All right, Broadman, we're going to...
Over to you, Angus. What
we're
are
gonna
your
move on.
positives?
Okay, my positives. Really liked the acting. I thought all the actors were great. I enjoyed that one of the girls was kind of going through that stage of finding out her sexuality and discovering that
good.
she's a lesbian, and that the journey of her kind of telling her parents
Yeah.
and that relationship between... Because I guess we've seen in a lot of movies before that, friends are there if you're going through this kind of sexual awkwardness stage in your life, but it's good to see that she opened up to her dad first, and how important that was
such a
for
touching
her dad
scene
as
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is, I think, going back to what you were saying earlier, Cane Dogs, that's probably one of the deepest moments of the film. And even though it was funny when he kind of broke down and started crying, like, it did actually mean that much.
It was
to
funny,
him,
but
and
it's funny almost because it's relatable.
it's
as well.
it's
Yeah.
quite a beautiful moment. So I really like that character and that whole character arc. I thought that was really interesting.
I remember when I told my dad I was a lesbian and he really cried. So, yeah.
Because he's got a dickhead for a son.
A lot of this I feel is going to be Brody sitting trying to find out what happened in this movie.
Yeah. You know what? We should actually try and see.
At the end of this, we'll get Brody to put the film
Brody
together.
to put it all together. Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the car scene when they first decide to go and chase.
Yes, and they
they're-
like lock each other out.
They're like trying to fight each other to get
Reminded
in
me.
the car, and
Have you seen Horrible Bosses?
yeah,
There's a scene where they like lock one character out of the car and he like starts kick. I think it's Charlie Day. Just like starts kicking the shit out of the car. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the main positives was that they didn't lean heavily on John Cena.
How soon is it before we see a Dwayne The Rock Johnson and John Cena buddy cop movie?
Next year.
Wow. I would have loved it if Dwayne The Rock Johnson was like his next door neighbor in this film. Like,
Yeah, true.
he was just like watering his garden or something.
Tell
He
you
was
what I
like,
would have
he's like,
loved.
hey Mitchell.
Tell you what I would have loved even more is, there's a scene where there's like a soccer match and his daughter's in a soccer match.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the angry yelling dads. Would have been fantastic if like the daughter like got tripped over by another daughter and John Cena runs out and Dwayne The Rock Johnson runs out
They
being
run
the
it,
father of
and they
the
just,
other.
like stare
And they
each
just
other
like
down.
stare each other down, and then just like one of the referees is like, not this again.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a cameo like that would have been fantastic.
yeah. That would have been amazing.
Anyway, I think the only there's one physical joke in there that requires his sort of strength, and it's actually funny, which is when he walks in on his girlfriend like
breaking
being
open the
intimate
doors.
with his boyfriend, and he picks up the boyfriend and throws him
Oh
through a
yeah,
wall.
yeah.
He just walks in, throws him like a softball.
Yeah.
That scene made me laugh
That was
so
good, yeah.
much because
Yeah.
what I feel like they did well is I think they knew people would be going in expecting to see John Cena do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so by that sort of end mark of the film where you hadn't seen it,
Everyone's
you sort
just
of
like,
assumed you wouldn't get
Yeah.
it. And then the payoff of him just picking someone up and throwing it was fantastic.
and of course the stoner kid's like, nah, no worries, man. It was kind of, it was good.
I
It was
did.
kinda
I
good."
really enjoyed the all of the boyfriends meeting the fathers and the
Yeah.
contrast of how different fathers reacted. So yeah, generally I think the writing for the most part was just top notch.
Mm.
They didn't rely on just easy gags that anybody could write.
Yeah.
Because anybody who gets John Cena could write 1,000 gags of just how funny it is that he can do things normal people can't, and he's a father of a girl, of a daughter. Like, anybody could write like really dumb shit with that. I'm glad that they let him use his comedy chops. It's just better than I thought.
Yeah, I think that Leslie Mann did a good job of being that kind of commanding character that that kind of let John Cena be in the background and be a bit more comedic.
Yeah.
I think without Leslie Mann's performance, I think they would have relied on John Cena a bit more. So I think, all in all, I think it was just a great ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Not really a weak point.
No,
not really.
Not at all.
No. The only other point that I really thought was good is because one of the things that I did think seeing this movie with two girls, one of them was my girlfriend, and the other thing is this is just the sorts of conversations that are happening in this day and age. Is that, like, you know, can you really do a movie that's all about how girls aren't allowed to have sex without addressing why people think that's a bad thing?
Yeah.
And so a few times in this film, the question is asked, like, why is there so much, like, bad...
Yeah.
Like, why is there so much dirty water around girls having sex? Like, why is that, a bad thing? And, like, you know, so they've got John Cena's wife, who even has the conversation, like, you wouldn't be doing this if this was, like, 3 sons doing it. Like,
Exactly.
I like that they bring that up, and then later in it's like, why is it such a bad thing? And they're like, I don't know. It just feels...
It just feels...
As a father, I feel protective of her. I don't know why. No, but you guys, I've thought of what it'd be like to have a daughter. Like, it just sort of, like, you know, the thoughts have crossed my mind, like, you know, how I'm going to be with all that stuff, and you just don't like it, and you don't know why. Like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like that this film tackled the questions that should be being asked in films like this, instead of pretending those questions don't exist and hoping people don't ask them.
Yeah.
It did a good job of being like, look, we understand that this film is, like, you know, laughing at something that should probably not really be laughed at anymore and should probably be talked about. So they sort of brought up a discussion whilst doing it, which is a good idea.
Definitely. And again, I think the young actresses had a really strong performance, strong enough that you could see that kind of coming through. Yeah. Where they're like, I wanna get laid, you know, and like it's becoming the norm where it's not only like the young teenage guys, it's like, I want to get laid.
Not just
it's
the
like
teenage guys that are high-fiving the idea of it. Yeah,
exactly. All the girls are like talking to themselves like, I want to have sex. Like, that's the goal for tonight, kind of thing.
It's no longer just like boys wanting to be men, but now it accepts that, like, you know, this is sometimes how girls want to be, like, this is somehow, this, like, some girls see this as their rite of passage to become women as well, and that's just,
exactly.
What's the best part about all of this is that people are going to be growing up with this film now. Instead of the films that we were watching of a similar vein, but all like male cast or male minded.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it definitely would have been a completely different movie if it were 3 Sons. Like,
absolutely,
it just would have been Superbad or something like that. And
American Pie would have been every other film.
It would have been worse.
It's quite refreshing to see like another side of the same story.
The woman would have been like an object of desire.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a good thing that this is directed by a woman as well. Because it gives that female perspective.
That's probably one of the major factors as to why we got to have so many of those conversations happen in the film.
That's it.
Cool.
Any other positives before we delve into the negatives?
Fucking talk about all the things we hated.
Yep. Cool. Let's. All right. Broadman. We're not going to start with you. Let's be honest. Cane Dogs.
It's my favorite segment.
Okay. So there's a running gag that's in so many films, and I just don't get why it's in films anymore, and I hate it every time. Anybody who's seen a scene like this with me knows it. So what I'm talking about is a throw-up scene.
Yeah.
A scene where people throw up.
When I saw that in the trailer, I was like, okay, it's like every other American comedy ever. It's not a big thing in British comedies, that thing, or Australian comedies. It's very much an American comedy. And I think it's because there was a huge kind of, like, they very much frown upon to use any kind of coarse language or super coarse themes for a long time in American comedies. But then for the rest of the world, it was just like, we didn't care. People were talking about the worst stuff. Have you ever seen the In-Betweeners? It's like the worst of the worst. And it's like vulgar language and everything. But in America, it was like, that was not so much a thing. So I think most people turn to that sort of acceptable, disgusting comedy.
Here's the thing. I don't mind a scene if someone throws up for comedy if the throwing up is believable or like a practical effect. Like, I remember not going to school one day because I just like chugged a bunch of bloody Wheat Bix and cornflakes and just swished it with some milk and then pretended to if you gave me something like that was just a little throw up for a comedy effect, fine. I would have been fine if they were in the car and she threw up in his lap.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so CGI and so like Nickelodeon goo. I can't stand that. Anything with CGI vomit, just not my deal.
Yeah, fair.
The other gag that I didn't like, however, I think is a necessary evil. I think they called it butt chugging.
Yeah.
There's a joke where John Cena has to like down an entire beer through a tube through his
six
ass.
pack, yeah.
Now,
It was in all the trailers.
yeah, you probably can guess the gag, but the idea is that someone challenges him to that, and the other kid doesn't actually do it. He just puts his thumb on it and pretends he's doing it. And John Cena
Okay.
actually does it. I can't stand just gags that are funny because they're just gross. I don't find
It's a
entertaining.
it's a very college
Yeah.
humor thing as
So
well.
I would say
Like,
it's a very American thing.
That all being said, I would honestly say those are like that is really the only main negative I have. I don't have a lot of negatives for this film, and I thought I'd have a lot of them. So
right. I guess
Fair
it's
enough.
down to the most negative person in the podcast. This guy.
Good old Negative Joe.
negative Joe.
Ooh, is it a surprise that I have negatives?
It's odd that you have a lot of negatives bearing that you saw 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah. Imagine if you watched the whole thing.
It looks like every other American-made comedy I've ever seen
Yeah.
for the past 30 years.
Scenery and settings.
Just lighting and camera work and kind of scenes and everything. It's like every single scene that I saw, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before. I feel like I've seen this scene, and it's like it's not even just like a little like it's like, oh, I've seen a scene in like a cafeteria or whatever. It's
or
like
just one of the scenes where they're all in the backyard having like drinks together, like the backyard
yeah.
party scenes.
It's I actually feel like no, I'm actually experiencing real deja vu here. It looks exactly like something I've seen before.
They probably just went into Universal or one of the big production houses and was like, we have a comedy, a stock standard comedy. This is the premise. And they're like, yep, no worries. We've got the guys that can do that for
Yeah.
you.
Well,
And they gave
go into
them
this
the
go into
exact
this
same.
set aside suburban town that we own.
Yeah.
Meet the same
Yeah.
crew that work there every day, and we'll make you that movie.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
2
you're
weeks.
making a
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Here's the people that did this.
Comedies are probably really quickly to film as well, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. They
absolutely.
just churn them out.
That's my biggest issue. I don't think I had any other like issues that I really saw.
Out of the 20 minutes of what he's doing.
Yeah,
What are the credits like?
pretty bog standard.
Anyway,
Angus, did
Yo.
you say your negatives?
No, I haven't. I haven't said my name.
hang on. I've just fallen asleep. Wait, no, I'm awake now.
And that's my negatives. Bro, man.
Oh well, they were good negatives, Angus.
No, okay. So my negatives of the film. I do agree with Jordan. There were some gags in there that I was just like, we're stooping to this level. I think the butt chugging, for the most part,
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking stupid. The whole, like, that college humor, like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to get one up on these parents who think they're hip kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
know, yeah.
Seen it all before. So a few of those gags, and same with like the vomiting and stuff. The car blowing up, I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Yeah, just touching on my last thing. So the boyfriend's parents are very sexually active,
Yeah.
which was fine. Like, that was a good idea to have, but the way that they're sexually active, they're very into like the kinky kind of, the blindfolds and all of that. And even though it was
Angus
like,
is taking notes.
well, even though they were there to be like, it's okay to have sex, I think they may have
They kind of ruined their
they
point.
may have put it a bit too far. I think it would have been I think it would have gotten the point home further if they were just like, they were sexually active, but they were just sexually active.
Just
Like, they
regular.
weren't chasing each other around their house, dirty talking with blindfolds on
Fair
and
enough.
stuff like that. I think that was maybe just a bit too far. And then the very end of that scene where they're sneaking into the house and then they've got to play the roles of each other, and like they take off the top and you see ballsack, and it's just. And was there a dick in this movie? Yeah. There's quite a bit of nudity, which I mean, I guess talking about sex and sexuality and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's fine for it to be in there.
So much of John Cena's ass.
Yeah, there was a lot of John Cena.
So much of John Cena's ass.
A lot of John Cena, and again there was ballsack and just stuff that you're like, it doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah,
like,
not really.
It's good that they're
it's like they fought for the rating.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad that that's in there because America, for a very long time, has had a very big problem with nudity. I was like, we don't think about it much in Australia because it's like it's actually kind of an okay thing for film and TV, but in America, it's very much like don't show anything. If it's a comedy, can't really do any of that.
I guess it's good that we're finally, like, it's not necessarily something I want to see, but it's good because the argument has always been like there's always female nudity in films.
Yeah, if it's male nudity, then that's even better.
Yeah.
Broadman, what do you think the movie was? Take us through the movie.
Do you want to make this the end thing? Just really trying to tell us.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. John Cena is there. Get together. Oh, there's a laptop. Oh, bloody emoticons. Oh, that means sex pact. Wait. Is it a sex pact? Oh, hang on. It says sex pact. That was lucky.
Hashtag sex pact. Yeah.
It was like, if that wasn't there, then maybe the entire film wouldn't have happened. Okay. We're chasing our kids. Gotta stop them. We caught them. Oh, they at a party. They're about to have sex. Oh, I guess let's chug some beer through our butts. Don't know why that happens, to be honest. Okay. We meet up with our kids. We don't actually meet up with them. They're in like the next room. We're about to go in. I've had a realization that it's okay. Better stop. Maybe I should just talk to my kid. No, I'm gonna run in and apparently throw a kid through a wall. Kid goes through the wall, hits Dwayne The Rock Johnson, obviously, who's in the next hotel room, and he's just there. He should have been there. It all works out fine. It's okay to be gay.
There's not really anything that I can critique you on because.
Look,
in a nutshell, yes. In a nutshell, yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, done.
Actually, that was another scene. Just adding on to the kind of cliche comedy scenes was when the mother got stuck under the bed of the girl that was about to have sex.
Yeah, I was really hoping it wasn't going to go to that cringeworthy.
Yeah,
thing.
It was like, here it goes.
They didn't,
but it didn't. And it was very funny to see her getting away when she was doing like somersaults and like army crawling and stuff. It was quite enjoyable.
At one point.
Yeah, and I think that brings it to like the main point that we're trying to get across here in this review is that it is one of those comedies that you've probably seen it before, but they do it well. Like they've got those stereotypical jokes in there, but they've done it well.
They've done it with a fresh take.
Yeah, they've just done it better.
Yep.
How would you stop your kids
having sex?
Having sex?
You know what I do?
What's the main thing? Or how did your parents stop you having sex?
No,
or try and turn you off
I know
sex?
exactly what I would do if I found out that my kid was going to have sex. If I knew the day or the night.
Yeah.
If I knew down to the night, I would take just a really gross picture of myself and my wife, and then just send it to him, and that'd turn him off for the night.
Like a gross picture is in a gross sexual picture?
Yeah, or just what I'd do is I'd accidentally send...
Wait, hang on. You'd send like a dick pic equivalent to your kid?
Look, okay, we're talking...
Jesus,
we're talking in a moral grey to moral, definitely not.
That grey is almost black.
Yeah.
We're talking,
very dark grey.
Yeah, that is a
This
dark grey.
is like something I wouldn't do, but under the circumstances that I was going to, instead of chasing him around in a limo and then trying to run him off the road and then butt chugging beer, I'd just pretend I was. I'd act.
This is an emergency response.
I'd in air quotes accidentally sexed my daughter to turn her off, and like then just be like, sorry, honey, that was meant for your mother. Please forget about it. and hopefully that'll just turn him off.
That'd turn, yeah.
What would you do,
That'd be the
Angus?
fastest way to do it.
Yeah, fair.
What would you
fair,
do, man?
fair.
What would you do?
See, my mum was a nurse, so I went like growing up. I had a lot of stories of like pregnancies and everything, and all of that. So probably along the lines of Jordan, but I'd make them sit through the filming of a pregnancy.
Oh, just
that,
tell you what,
like-
just
okay.
accidentally link them a YouTube video of someone giving birth.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then-
something like that. Because
So I think all of this is just accidentally sending things. Like,
that's enough to make you really think about it.
What I would do,
Yep.
I would just go out to the shed, get my double barrel, and just blow that little fucker to Kingdom Come.
You've been listening to the Film Slice podcast. You can reach us on Twitter at film_slice_pod and on YouTube and stuff. Thanks for listening. I guess we'll see you next
We'll
week.
probably do another one.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.